Who starts in goal?
He said about him being the best in the league, and I mentioned I think he's the best in the world to me.
Well, you can go wrong still, but you know what I mean. But
£65 million player, and we're not. I don't think none of us are going to put him in our starting 11.
AFTV, we are up here at St James's Park for the big game, Newcastle versus Arsenal, Saturday, 5:30 kickoff right here. And what we're going to do now is take a look at the predicted 11. The 11 that we'd like to see, and we'll also probably run through the 11 that probably will happen. Now, if you want to select your 11, don't forget to go to our app, AFTV Plus, download it right now at all the normal places. Do that right now, and you can select your own team and send it in to us as well, and we'll pick out some of the best ones and post them. But guys, big game this.
Yeah,
big
massive
game. We need the big boys out for this game. I'm going to get straight into it. Who starts in goal?
Ramsdale for me, without a shadow of a doubt. You know what I mean? Now, listen, I'm going to be really honest. I'm going to be really honest. Aaron needed to play a little bit better than what he did on Wednesday night. I think he'd admit that as well. Like, you know, probably should have done better for the third goal. And listen, Raya played really well the game before. So sometimes you have to have a bit of luck in football. He's got the luck at the moment because he makes a mistake, he gets away with it. If Aaron makes a mistake, he don't. That's how it is. So Raya in goal. But if you want who I'd like.
Is that the unfairness of the situation, Lee?
Yeah.
In the, you know, basically you've had a keeper that's had 4 or 5 games and he's made a lot of errors in some of those, but he's had a good last one. And then you have a guy who comes in, has got 1 game and is expected to be error-free, clean sheet, and even then he might not get in.
Well, exactly, and against with a makeshift back 4 as well, so I think it's very, very unfair. Listen, Aaron, if he played really well, he still wouldn't be in the team at this moment in time. Listen, look, people go on about it and say like he hasn't made mistakes. Of course he's made mistakes in the past as well, but I think over the last 2 years he's been fantastic for us. That's my personal opinion, and I don't think he deserved to be dropped. But at the end of the day, football and at the top level is very, very harsh, as we all know. So Raya comes in, and Raya's got to nail it now. Like, you know, I thought he'd done well in the last game. So and it's obvious that he is the number 1 now, and you know. So listen, as everybody has, got to back him. And I'm sure he'll have a good game tomorrow.
Okay, you agree with that, Raya?
Yeah, there's not really much more to say, Rob. David Raya, and Mikel Arteta's going to go with him. We know how it is now, so not too much to say. I think this 11 actually, my 11 that I want to see picks itself. I think it picks itself.
Right back.
Benjamin with the lovely hair.
Okay.
Benjamin White.
Although he did make a massive error in the week for their own goal.
He did.
He's got to get rid of that hairline. Honestly, I think he's had 3. I love Benjamin. He's been superb for us, but since he's had that haircut, he's had a couple of dodgy games and an own goal. I expect it to be shaven or back to normal Benjamin.
All right, Ben White, and I think
we know the set about pairing.
We're all going to agree on Saliba.
Yeah, Saliba and Gabriel. There's nothing more I can say. I mean,
he was missed during the week, Saliba, wasn't he?
Massively, Robbie. And I think you said you did many podcasts in the week. I know you said about him being the best in the league, and I mentioned I think he's the best in the world to me. I think I watch him week in, week out. I think he's incredible. I can't say more about the player. He's superb, and he brings the confidence in his Arsenal side. He makes us feel comfortable, solid as well. When he's in the side, I'm calm. So him and Gabriel partnering him, nothing better than that.
Agreed?
Couldn't agree more. Like, you know, I think it's one of the best central partnerships in the Premier League as well as Europe as well. Like, you know, I think that they complement each other really, really well. Goes without saying.
And it's going to be very important that those two are on their game, because, you know, we know that Newcastle, attacking wise, even though Isak might not be playing, but Wilson's still an absolute handful as well. They're going to have to both be on the money.
Yeah, exactly that. And to be fair, most of the time they are.
Yeah.
So you know, you know, Saliba's the Rolls Royce, but you know, he ain't far behind him, Gabriel, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit of a raw deal because I think he's the one that, you know, attacks everything and is the more aggressive defender.
Lamborghini.
So yeah, Lamborghini. So he makes a couple of errors because he has to be aggressive.
Okay, this is the interesting one. Who plays at left back in the game? Now, you know, obviously the manager's got a selection here, which he's been selecting these 2 players in recent games. Zinchenko, who started the last Premier League game against Sheffield United, also played during the week, didn't have his greatest games, or Takehiro Tomiyasu. who's come in and looked very good in those positions. Lee, who gets it for you?
Now listen, I can say this about Ramsdale and Raya, like, you know what I mean? Like Zinchenko over the last couple of seasons has been fantastic for us, you know, last season, sorry. But he's just lost a bit of form. And the player coming in Tomiyasu has been superb since he's come in. And I think because of that, you know, Zinchenko's under a little bit of pressure, like, you know. For me, I think Tomiyasu deserves to play because I think that when he's come in, he's played really, really well. Zinchenko, for whatever reason, hasn't been quite at it. So for me, Tomiyasu.
Rob, listen, Tomiyasu's been superb since he's come in. Zinchenko's off form. It kind of depends what Mikel Arteta's style of play he's going to go for when he plays against Newcastle on Saturday, but it's got to be Tomiyasu. He's so solid. He's so solid at the back. He's high, he wins these tackles, he wins his headers, and these lot score goals. Remember, I think they scored the most goals this season. I know there was an 8-0 that kind of pushes that extremely high, but they score goals. We need someone who's resolute in defence, and that is Tomiyasu.
Yeah, I have to say I agree with both of you on that one. I think you've got to be very resolute in this game. You know what I mean? I think, you know, and Tomiyasu is a very, very good defender. And I'm just like, 4 strong defenders in your back line, you can't go wrong. Yeah. Well, you can go wrong still, but, you know what I mean? But I think this is not really the game for, you know, your loads of inverting and that. This is a game where we need to be solid as well. So I want to see Tomiyasu in there. Interesting now, we move into the midfield. I think we can all agree that Declan Rice is definitely going to play. Yeah.
6 of the 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah, but where will he play?
That is the key. That is the key for me. Like, I think that I would play, if it's me, I'd play 2 in there, and that would be like Jorginho and Declan Rice as a 2. Yeah. You know, like when you can, Declan get forward, but you know, keep that solid base so that the attacking guys can go forward. So that's how I would go with them 2 and Odegaard coming back in. That would be my 3.
Jorginho played last year here as well, didn't he?
Played very well,
didn't he?
He played very well. Look, listen, in an ideal world, and if everything was going right, you know, I mean, Kai Havertz should be playing, like, you know, but he's just, you know, like, it just hasn't happened for him at this moment in time. £65 million player, and we're not. I don't think none of us are going to put him in our starting 11.
Would you put him in maybe for the additional physicality, just you know, for the mere fact, good in the air, good at winning headers, that sort of stuff?
Well, look, listen, you know, I think you've got to be just doing a little bit more than okay in these games. Look, for me, I wouldn't be against seeing 70 minutes of Jorginho and then 20 minutes of Kai Havertz, something like that. That's the way I'm going, and that's how it is for him at this moment in time. He has got, by the way, he has got to start justifying this fee at some stage now. We're into November now, and we're all still, you know, trying and wishing that he's going to be better than what he actually is.
So you're say 3 in the middle. You've got Jorginho is your sitting defender with Rice box to box and Odegaard. That's what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying, but not always box to box. Rice, just sometimes, you know, attacking when the time is right.
Okay. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. Listen, we're all agreeing. So, but no, we all think the same. Arteta will probably put Oneni in there. He always never tells us what we all think. But yeah, I've same as Lee, Jorginho and Rice kind of next to each other. It can be Rice a bit more advanced, but they are next to each other. And let Martin Odegaard go and be creative and feed the front 3. So similar.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you guys. I think it's critical, this midfield battle. You know what I mean? They have a good midfield in Bruno Guimaraes, a really talented player. Yeah. You've got Joe Linton in there who adds a lot of muscle and strength to that midfield. But if you've got Rice and Jorginho and Odegaard in there, that, you know, more than matches up, if not surpasses their midfield. And that's where a lot of this battle is going to be won, especially Guimaraes, a very, very good operator in there in the middle of the park. So very important that we get that combination right. And as you said, maybe Havertz later on in the game, but definitely not starting for me either. I agree with you. Now, front 3. Let's start with you.
Bukayo Saka on the right, of course. You saw the cavalry came on against West Ham, and that was it was obvious how the level changed when they were on. So him on the right, Martinelli on the left. If he'll be fine for that. So there's one person that Arteta alluded to returning. Now, he had to have a training session to be assessed. I think a lot of people are saying Jesus. It could be Partey. I'm hoping it's Jesus. But if it's not, it has to be Eddie. And I don't want to, it sounds like I'm talking down on Eddie, but this is the game. It's all well and good getting a hat-trick against Sheffield, but this is the game I need you to really turn up on. And if Jesus ain't fit, it has to be Eddie Nketiah. I don't.
Well, you say it has to be. It could also be Trossard as well.
I just see with me, I have this thing. When Trossard starts, he hasn't been great. I think we spoke on the way up in the car. I think it was Fulham the last time he started for me, and I was really, really taken back how good his performance was when he started the game. From then, I haven't really seen much. So it's more off the bench. He's very much an impact player. So for me, Martinelli gets that point on the left, and up front, I wouldn't want to see him up front. I'd rather keep Eddie there if Jesus is not available.
All right, what about you?
Listen, I'm going to say it now. I'm very, very disappointed with Eddie's performance on Wednesday. Mikel Arteta has always said, he works really hard and everything like that. He strolled around for that game on Wednesday night, so he needs to produce a good performance. Listen, a hat-trick last week was fantastic. Because of that, he deserves to start this game, but he's got to step up, in my opinion, and I'll be having a word with him. If it was me, I don't want to see that strolling around no more. So I expect him to start up front with obviously Martinelli and obviously Saka. If there is a role for Havertz, it is that holding player to just give.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's another alternative that you could put there is Havertz.
Yeah, just to give us that bit more of a platform, because if there is a weakness to Eddie's game, Eddie is a goal scorer, a finisher. He's not one of those ones that brings players into the game. A lot of it broke down on him on Wednesday when he's going into his feet and that. So if Arteta is going to go that way, we were going to take a possession-based game, then you would go with Havertz.
What does Havertz offer that Eddie doesn't up front? Because apart from all because it's height,
he's better in the air, isn't he? But for starters, he holds the ball up. He holds the ball up way better than Eddie.
I don't know, holding the ball up. I think the height-wise, yes, and maybe winning headers, but holding the actual ball up, I don't see Havertz pinning man. I see Eddie trying.
To be honest, I thought that Havertz, when he came on in that game against Man City, in both the Man City games, also in the Community Shield, I thought he did that very well. That sort of holding it, pinning a man, backing in, holding it and bringing other people into play. I think he does that way better than Eddie. Wow. Way better.
He done it against Chelsea as well when he come on, that's the only thing. Listen, his best game for Arsenal was in the Community Shield, back in August in that role. He hasn't hit the full look, Eddie hasn't scored away from home for over a year as well, so he needs to perform. Look, listen, Eddie deserves to start.
What about Trossard? I did mention Trossard.
Trossard, I wouldn't be against Trossard starting in this game in that position. Listen, it's very harsh to leave a player out that scored a hat-trick, Robert. It's very harsh to do that. But, if you're going back on the back of Wednesday's performance, then I get that. But listen, if you're going to go on the back of Wednesday's performance, half that team shouldn't be playing, so he's not going to go on that, so I think that Eddie just gets it for me, but my God, he better perform, because if he doesn't, that's 2 poor games away from home, and there's got to be a cut-off sooner or later.
It's almost a shame that he played that game on Wednesday, because, he was on such a high after that hat-trick that sort of knocked him back a little bit. But listen, this is a completely different game with a completely different team. Let me run through the team that we've selected, and I have to admit, I think this will be the team that Mikel Arteta will go with, and that is in goal, David Raya, right back, Ben White, the central defensive defensive partnership of William Saliba and, of course, Gabriel, and on the left-hand side, left back, will be Tomiyasu. Moving into midfield, Jorginho, Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard, and up front would be Eddie Nketiah leading the line, with on the flanks, on the left-hand side, Martinelli, and on the right-hand side, Saka. That team, if that is a team that's playing, I think is a team good enough to win this game here at St James's Park. What do you guys think? Select your team using the app, the AFTV Plus. Let us know what you would like to see. You may have different variations to this. And who could be the mystery player that Mikel Arteta's talking about that could be fit to play this game? Could it be Thomas Partey? Or could it be Gabriel Jesus? Timber. Somehow I don't think so, but that's a lovely thought. The game, of course, taking place here at St James's Park. We're all over it here at AFTV, both at the game, speaking to fans after the game. Also, we'll be in the studio, the full crew will be there, and this game is major, so you do not want to miss it. Check it out here on AFTV. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and we'll see you very soon.